It's no secret that writing a dissertation is incredibly difficult. And if you've been following along for my Dissertation Diaries series, then you'll have seen the many ups and downs that I've faced in the first 7 months of working on my dissertation since passing my prospectus. And the other day, I attended an event with Ali Abdaal, and he was talking about his recent book launch for Feel Good Productivity. When he got in front of the audience, he asked a really profound question. If you were to continue what you have done in the past week, and you were basically to continue that week on for a year or so, where would you be, and would you be happy with where you've gone? When he presented this question, I immediately thought to how it is that I am really unsatisfied with the progress that I've been making on my dissertation. And as I've had some time to reflect on it, I've decided that I need a plan. I am a goal-setting, planning, time-blocking kind of gal, and everything that I have learned in terms of productivity that I have used in order to be successful as a student, in order to build businesses, in order to maintain this YouTube channel and grow it, I haven't really applied those principles to my dissertation. And I think that that might be part of the problem. We are going to go ahead and work together to plan out the entirety of my dissertation and give myself a roadmap towards completion. Now, I'm going to offer a quick disclaimer. The thing about life and about research is that it does not go according to plan. And so while I am giving myself a general sketch, it is not so that way I follow it to a T. The idea is that when you have a goal in mind, or you have your sights set on a particular idea or a particular destination or a particular journey that you're looking to take, it at least gets you to put one step in front of the other. Back when I was a teenager, the only thing that I wanted in the entire world, the only career I could ever think of having, was to be a professional horseback rider. I groomed horses, I braided their manes at horse shows, I painted jumps, I did anything and everything I could in order to receive opportunities so that way I could work towards that goal of becoming a professional. At the age of 18, I did actually go pro, and within a couple of years decided that that was no longer the path that I wanted to pursue. Having pursued that path, I had made connections, I had demonstrated work ethic, I had developed discipline, and all of those things played a role in my decision to then shift to going into academia and to becoming a transfer student. And so the idea with this dissertation plan is not necessarily for it to be super mandated and controlled, but more so that way I have a structure for how it is that I'm going to stay organized, and that way I have a bit of a direction in mind. Every day that I sit down to work on my dissertation, I feel like I'm not entirely certain what it is that I'm supposed to be working on, and this, I hope, is meant to be a bit of an antidote for that. So today I have partnered with Atlas TI Web to share with you my dissertation plan. We're going to go ahead over to Notion to my dissertation dashboard and begin building out a plan. As you can see here, we have the dissertation dashboard, and I've gone ahead and customized it a little bit based on my own needs. So what you're going to see as I navigate my own dissertation dashboard might be a little bit different, and I'm also going to show you how it is that I'm going to tweak it. So one thing that I incorporated here at the top is the words of wisdom. I also incorporated this next step and your goals. So I actually linked the goals from my home page from the original Dream Canvas template. And if you have the Dream Canvas template, then you can go ahead and copy the link to this block, and then you can sync it with the dissertation dashboard. I have a system where I listen to podcasts and I write down quotes in a little notes app for inspiration. I have the idea of one day really wanting to write a nonfiction book relating to productivity or something along those lines, and I just take little tidbits from things that I listen to. Okay, I found a quote that I really like. This is from an interview with Josh Peck on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, Diary of a CEO. And what he said was, you can't think your way into right acting. You have to act your way into right thinking. And why I love this quote is because with the dissertation, I just constantly feel like I'm getting stuck. And one thing that I have tried to focus on and has been my motto is that you can't fix it while standing still, that you have to fix it while moving forward. And I just think that that quote does a very good job of embodying that. So I have this goal that is to complete the PhD, and I break that down into why I want to achieve that goal. And then I also have my action steps, which has a timeline, has a habit, has a matter of accountability. And this is something that I worked out when I was working on my Dream Canvas template a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And then as you see here, I have the dissertation organizer, and this has literature, sources or evidence, so primary research. And then I have my decision document, my dissertation diary, and then I have the project management board. And this is the one thing that I think is really important. You can see that it has the writing section, data collection, meeting notes, literature, and then also something for motivation. But the thing that is most important is this dissertation timeline. So we're going to fill that out a little later, but I just wanted to quickly show you how it is that it's broken up. And I have it broken up by category of types of things that need to be done. Now we're back on the main page, and I just want to scroll down. So I have dates to submission of the dissertation, which seems like a long way off, 683 days, but I am trying to set a deadline to myself that I would like to complete my PhD in 2025. That's the goal. And then I have the dissertation project board, and this is where I have all of the different chapters. And if you open this up, I have the template that I created for each of your chapters. You can use this or you can choose not to, but I have summary, outline, and then you can go ahead and plug in your sources. Now I'm gonna go ahead over to dissertational logistics. So a dissertational logistics has the roadmap, has meeting notes, fellowship application tracker, postdoc applications, job applications, and conference abstracts. You can also see the notes tracker down here. It just says graduate school notes tracker. And if you scroll down, you can also see the timeline once again. And you can see it either in the timeline view for project management, or you can go over to the calendar view. So I have more that is embedded within each of these pages, but that's a quick overview of the template. So that is what I've been working on designing, but stick around because we're going to fill it out together as well. Now that we've gone ahead and set up Notion, I want to go ahead and show you how it is that I'm using Atlas TI Web in order to begin coding for my primary and my secondary sources. Atlas TI Web is your virtual assistant for qualitative analytical research. Now, here are 3 of the core features that are available through Atlas TI Web that I think are just so cool and are going to help you improve your workflow significantly. First and foremost is conversational AI. Atlas TI Web has paired up with OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, in order to create an AI system that actually responds to questions related to the documents that you're looking at. So for example, I can pull up an article and ask a series of questions about the analysis, about the findings, about the sources used, and conversational AI will actually speak back to me as though it is that I am speaking to a person. The second feature is AI coding. I use this in order to break down the documents that I'm looking at and actually code for different types of language that is used. However, one other option is to actually use AI coding in order to have the software within Atlas TI actually code the document for you. And then you can go ahead and filter through those in order to improve accuracy. So although it's using an AI generator in order to actually create these different tags, you can yourself edit them and adjust and delete or add based on your own preferences for your research. So everything that you do is double checked by you, but by automating that first step, it just offers that bit of clarity. It also has AI coding suggestions. So as you're going through a document and you're pulling quotations or you're going ahead and coding sections, it will also have recommended codes based on what it is that it has seen within the document. Additionally, Atlas TI also offers sentiment analysis. So if you're somebody who's using transcripts from interviews and things of that nature, this might be useful to you. If you're interested in checking out Atlas TI Web for your own workflow, then go ahead and use the discount code academic20 for 20% off of your membership to Atlas TI software. Thank you so much to Atlas TI for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the dissertation plan. Now it is time to switch gears and return to Notion to work out my timeline, so that way I can go ahead and figure out a plan for when it is that I need to be in archives versus when it is that I need to be writing. All right, the first step in trying to plan out the dissertation is essentially to work backwards. And what I mean by this is that I have a general deadline as part of my roadmap that I have a chapter conference by the end of this academic year. And I have a trip planned to go meet with my committee and to see my advisor, which means that I have essentially until April 1st to go ahead and actually submit the draft so that way they can review it. And what I'm going to do is we are going to go ahead and mosey on over to April on this calendar. And essentially April 1st is when I have to have the chapter submitted. I'm just going to put in chapter submission. And actually I need another group, and that's going to be meetings. So what I'm actually going to do is move the chapter conference to the meetings and submissions board, as well as the chapter submission, because that just makes more organizational sense. That means that I essentially am going to need the month of March to write and also to get feedback from my advisor. So if I have to submit a chapter to my committee by April 1st, I probably need to submit an actual chapter to my advisor in March. So I'm gonna say like the week of the 15th of March is when I am going to need to submit chapter to my advisor. On average, it takes me about 2 to 3 weeks to write something of that volume if I have all of the sources and all of the information compiled. So that's just pure writing. This is not research, this is not reading, this is just writing. I probably need to be writing from about the final week in February to around mid-March. I'm actually not starting my writing with chapter 1, so you'll notice that I say chapter, but I don't say chapter 1 because it's not actually where I'm going to begin writing. Whether it's fiction, whether it's stuff for my research, I just never have been somebody that writes chronologically, and I know that that might be very strange to some people, but I am basically starting in the middle of my dissertation rather than at the beginning. I need to have all of the secondary readings, the data analysis, and archive visits done by February 21st, which gives us about a month. So this is why it's important to do it in reverse, because I also am offering up a little bit extra time and flexibility for example, if something were to go awry and I need more time in the archive, whatever it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and say that I need to get all of my archive visits done in the next month. I have one archive trip to Oxford in the middle of February, which is why I'm stretching it all the way to then. But I need to have my analysis done by the time I go to Oxford, so that way when I get back, I can start writing. What I tend to do with my schedule is I will have 1 or 2 days that are in the archives, and then I have 1 or 2 days that are data analysis, and then I have 1 or 2 days for secondary readings. So it really varies depending on the week, but I'm gonna say that data entry needs to be complete by the time I go to Oxford. The secondary readings, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the calendar as well. Secondary readings I'm probably going to end up doing through the time that I'm at Oxford. And what I need to do is actually break this down further. So I'm going to say that next week, I'm going to focus on readings on North American assemblies. So now I have a general kind of sketch of how it is that I'm actually going to get from point A to point B, which is point A now to chapter conference in April. And as I said before, the challenge that I've been facing is that I sit down at my computer and I begin work on my dissertation, but I just have no clue what it is I'm actually supposed to be doing. It feels so overwhelming to know that you have to do data analysis and you have to schedule archive visits and you need to transcribe these documents and you also need to be doing the secondary reading. And so there's just so many different directions that you're being pulled. And now, because I have this structure, I know that, for example, on a given day, I need to focus on scheduling archive visits and transcribing, or I need to focus on data entry, or I need to focus on readings. But now that I have this general sketch, I feel so much better, and I hope that following along this process was helpful for you, because I feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders. I feel so much better after having a plan mapped out for how it is that I am going to structure my work on my dissertation. I am so grateful for you for sticking around to the end of this video, and thank you again to Atlas TI for sponsoring this video. Anybody that has undertaken research knows that it is a roller coaster of an experience, and there are many twists and turns along the way, but at least having a general roadmap for what direction I'm heading in helps me feel much better and more secure in how it is that I'm going to follow this up. I have a meeting with my advisor coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and discuss my plan with them. We're going to be applying to fellowships. We're going to cross our fingers that we can secure funding so we can stay in the UK and hopefully secure a visa. And I'm so grateful that you have decided to stick around for this journey. If you enjoyed, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you are yet to subscribe to my channel. We have so many more Dissertation Diaries episodes on the way and so much more to experience with this journey. So I hope you stick around, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, friends.